What's up, you guys? Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you're a returning viewer. It's great to have you here with me. And today it is finally time. I am super excited to bring this video to you guys because this Thursday, July 17th, South of Sanity is returning with their 2025 Halloween collection. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you would know that South of Sanity is a small batch wax company that specializes in spooky fragrances all year long, but every year for Halloween, they go all out, bringing a lot of brand new fragrances and stuff that is really just off the cusp. I've been a huge fan of them for the past couple of years, and this collection to me feels like the first truly scary Halloween collection of the year. So we are just diving head first into the season with this one. So Virgil over at South of Sanity was kind enough to send me all 10 brand new fragrances to preview for you guys, and a couple of other surprises as well. So thank you so much to Virgil for sending these out to me. So this Thursday, all of the 10 brand new fragrances will be available in wax melt form only. However, for those of you who have been wanting South of Sanity's candles to return, we will be getting candles back this year. However, those will release towards the end of August, and unfortunately, there are only going to be a select few fragrances that will be released in candle form. So the reason that the candles will be releasing later in the year, as well as only in specific fragrances, Virgil is someone who really cares about every aspect of the candle making process. So he will only be releasing the scents that perform the best in candle version. And the reason for the release at the end of August is so that the weather can get a bit cooler so that the candles don't melt over in transit. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a full list of exactly what fragrances will be available in candle form, but I do have 2 confirmed scents at least, that being Halloween Night and Halloween Bonfire. So these were 2 of my absolute favorite scents of last year, Halloween Night in particular being my personal favorite of the year. So having these in candle form is like a dream to me. And I did give both of these a burn as well, and boy do they perform. This little 2-wick Halloween Night was fairly strong while burning in my room, and this Halloween Bonfire 3-wick, well, if you've smelled this scent before, you know how strong it is, and the 3-wick version definitely exceeded my expectations. So for those of you out there who tried these 2 scents last year and enjoyed them, definitely get excited for the candles coming later on in the year. But as far as new fragrances go, get ready because we are going to dive in. All right, so Virgil did send me a sheet of the scent notes, as well as a little description for each scent, of which I will be reading. So let's start out here with Pumpkin Spice Latte. Pumpkin Spice Latte says, I wanted a PSL that was more coffee forward than spice. Pumpkin Spice Latte has scent notes of coffee, pumpkin spice, and nutmeg. And yeah, this is a very, very coffee forward pumpkin spice latte scent. The black coffee in this is so strong and so prominent, but it also has those false spices in there. It does read as a pumpkin spice latte and not just black coffee. So if you don't like those false spices with your coffee scents, you probably won't enjoy that aspect of it. But I do also detect a little bit of like a caramel syrup in this fragrance as well, and that especially came through on burn for me. I did give this one a melt, and with only using one of the scent cubes from this thing was super strong. It just gave me that cozy fall coffee shop type of vibe, and not like a Starbucks vibe, kind of like your local coffee shop. The Starbucks pumpkin spice latte has a lot of sugar in it, and this one definitely reads more spicy and more coffee forward. So if that's what you're looking for your pumpkin spice latte scent, then consider giving South of Sanity's take on it a try. All right, up next here, let's go ahead and talk about Cranberry Pumpkin. So the description of Cranberry Pumpkin states, a scent that reminds me of late fall going into Thanksgiving. Cranberry Pumpkin has scent notes of cranberry, pumpkin, oak wood, and vanilla bean. Straight off the top of this thing, you are getting hit with that super tart cranberry, and then it gets you on the back end with that smooth, buttery pumpkin. I don't get a lot of that oak wood in there. There's just maybe a little bit of like dustiness. Think like the stem of a pumpkin, or maybe like the twigs from the cranberries. And then that vanilla bean is in there just to kind of meld everything together, make it harmonious. This one does definitely give me late fall, like Thanksgiving vibes. Think like Harvest Festival. I absolutely love this fragrance. It's so warm and cozy and distinctly fall. And I did give this one a melt as well. And again, with the 1 scent cube, this thing was absolutely filling up my room. And while burning, that buttery pumpkin really came through and almost gave this one like a fall gourmand type feel. Almost like a cranberry pumpkin tart. There's no like flaky pastry or anything in there, but that butter really does come through and just makes this one so addicting and cozy. If you guys tried South of Sanity's pumpkin apple from last year, that same pumpkin note is what is in this. And considering that was one of my favorite fragrances from last year's line, it makes sense that I ended up loving this one. For people out there who like Bath & Body Works like The Perfect Autumn or even Homeworks' Harvest Leaves, definitely consider trying out Cranberry Pumpkin. All right, keeping in line with the gourmands, let's go ahead and talk about Fall Carnival. So the description of Fall Carnival states, a scent that reminds me of going to the carnival in late August, early September. Fall Carnival has scent notes of salted popcorn, kettle corn, and funnel cake. So when I first got this one, this was the only thing that I was picking up and smelling for like 2 days. And you guys know that I'm not typically the gourmand guy, but this one just does it so well. You get that beautiful fried doughy funnel cake in there, just a little bit of like that caramelized sugar from the kettle corn, and then you get hit with that slightly buttery, salty popcorn. And although it's not listed in the scent notes, I swear I can smell the powdered sugar as well. It does have like a dusty, sugary quality to it that I really love. It's got a killer balance of like just a little bit salty, but also really sweet, but not sweet enough to the point where it's sickening, sweet enough to where it's enticing. So around where I'm at, I don't necessarily have like a fall carnival that comes through every single year. So this one doesn't necessarily smell like fall to me. In fact, I think that this is a really good fragrance for summertime, in the fact that I associate that funnel cake smell and the popcorn with like going to amusement parks. And that's definitely what this is reminding me of. Think like Six Flags, where they have those like specific buildings where all they sell is funnel cakes, and you just walk in and that freshly baked, freshly fried funnel cake scent just smacks you in the face. So while burning the Fall Carnival, I did use 2 of the scented cubes here, and this fragrance was lighter than I would have liked it, but not super light to the point where I couldn't smell it. It will give you that warm, cozy feel, but it's not going to be like assaulting you with scent or anything. So if you love cakey gourmands, you like that powdered sugar, fried dough type of scent, Fall Carnival is definitely the way to go with this collection. All right, so taking a turn into some of the more spooky offerings, let's go ahead and talk about Graveyard Nights. So the description for Graveyard Nights states that it was inspired by Bath & Body Works' Moonlit Graveyard, but a bit different. The scent notes on Graveyard Nights are tombstone moss, sweet patchouli, amber, and woods. So straight off the top of this thing, you are getting hit with that almost sweet green moss, and then a little bit of that earthiness creeps through from the sweet patchouli, just a touch of woodiness. It's not overly woody, and then you get hit with that tombstone. Now I know the scent notes say tombstone moss, but there is like almost a wet concrete-esque note in there. There's a definitive rocky, stony scent that I really like in this one. Think like fog creeping over a almost wet, freshly rained on cemetery. It does lean a little bit into body care-esque. It's a little bit more fresh than that, but the amber does kind of take it in that direction. And as far as how this compares to Bath & Body Works Moonlit Graveyard, smelling them back to back, it's definitely inspired by, it's not a dupe at all to me, going for the same thing, but the Bath & Body Works version is a little bit more body care, a little bit sweeter. There's a noticeable incense scent in the Moonlit Graveyard from Bath & Body Works that is not present in Graveyard Nights, but what they do share is that tombstone moss, where it's a little bit stony, green, fresh, and that foggy feel. So if you enjoyed Moonlit Graveyard from Bath & Body Works and you wanted it to be a little bit more mossy, a little more dirty, a little less sweet, then I think that you would enjoy Graveyard Nights. All right, so up next here, let's go ahead and talk about Autumn's End. So the description of Autumn's End states, a scent that reminds me of late fall going into winter when it starts to get cold. Autumn's End has scent notes of applewood, autumn mint, fresh fall air, and woodland. So I actually think that is a perfect description of this scent. It smells very chilly, definitely a cold fall day. There's leaves fallen on the ground. You get that chill in the air. You're smelling the wood from the surrounding trees, and you're wearing your favorite mint cologne. So this is a very woody fragrance. It's got those deep, almost cologne-y type scent notes in there. Maybe a little bit of like dry, crunchy leaves. But what's really, really prominent in here is that autumn mint. So if you do not like mint scent notes, steer clear of this one. But for me, that mint, the way that it plays in there with those leaves and those wooden notes is what's really bringing me back to this one. I really, really love this fragrance. It smells very classic fall, and the fragrance that actually reminds me the most of this one is actually Bath & Body Works Sweater Weather. Now, while I do like Sweater Weather from Bath & Body Works, it can get a little bit too much for me. There's like a sage and a eucalyptus in there that are kind of astringent, especially when burning the candle. But what I like about this fragrance as opposed to Sweater Weather is that it has the vibe that I like, that woody, fresh feeling, but with the sage and eucalyptus replaced by mint, which is a lot more tolerable and actually works quite a bit better in my opinion. I gave this thing a burn last night with 2 scented cubes, and this thing was so strong, but surprisingly, it didn't get like headache inducing. I really was just enveloped by it, and I was just really enjoying living in that cold, chilly autumn vibe that it created. But yeah, overall, really, really love this one. Definitely give it a try if you're a fan of woody, minty fragrances. All right, so up next here, we have the witchy fragrance of the bunch in Enchantress. So the description of Enchantress states that it's a beautiful and complex witchy blend. Enchantress has scent notes of plum, violet, cedar, toasted clove, leather, patchouli, and cinnamon. And complex is definitely the descriptor here. There are so many different avenues to this scent, but straight off the top, I am getting that really deep plum fragrance, and that's mixing in with this definitive floral, a little bit of that dusty cedar, a heavy dose of that toasted clove in there. It does have this like warm, almost burnt wood type of scent, and then you're getting hit with dashes of cinnamon. This one does have a very almost like perfumey type vibe to it. It smells like a Halloween perfume, Halloween body care type fragrance. It's very enticing, very warm, very welcoming. It also kind of reminds me of if you walk into like a Michael's in fall time and you're smelling that like toasted pine cone, cinnamon pine cone, the way that 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 toasted clove and the cinnamon mixes in really kind of gives it that craft store vibe, which could be a detriment if you hate that scent, but to me that always reminds me of fall. I love that scent. But imagine that mixed in with like plum juice and the violet, and that's what you get in Enchantress. I did give a burn to this one as well, and it wasn't as strong as I thought it was going to be from smelling just the wax itself, but once again it was a very nice medium throw, filled up the room but didn't become too strong to where it's sickening or overwhelming. So if you're a fan of those witchy blends, if you like cinnamon, if you like plum, definitely if you like clove, then Enchantress is going to be the one for you. All right, up next here we're taking a left turn into something a little bit more sensual with Goth. So the description of Goth says, leather forward and seductive. There will be two labels, the normal and the risque version. Goth has scent notes of leather, clove, and smoky firewood. So leather lovers out there, this is definitely the scent for you. Once you open this thing up, that is what you are getting smacked in the face by. It is very in your face, very mean, almost kinky. And that's definitely what's portrayed on this risque version of the label. If you do not like leather in your fragrances, definitely steer clear of this one. But it also is not the only thing in there. You do get a heavy dose of that clove and definitely that smoke note coming from the firewood that really just sets in to deepen that leather fragrance. It's almost like you're in the middle of a biker bar or like obviously a goth club. Everyone's dressed in leather, there's smoke in the air, and someone is definitely smoking a clove cigarette. Although there is no like tobacco or cigarette smoke type of fragrance in this. Very straightforward, very in your face. If you want a deep, smoky leather fragrance, then Goth is definitely the one for you. And it's no surprise that when I burned this one, this was so strong in my room. That leather was just punching when I had this one burning, and it is a lingerer. So if you want your scents to stick around long after you have turned it out, then Goth is definitely the one for you. All right, so these final three fragrances are for the scary Halloween lovers out there. And up first, we have Haunted House. The description of Haunted House states, a scent that reminds me of being in an old, rundown haunted house, inside and out. Haunted House has scent notes of smoked cedar, damp earth, moss, oud, musk, and gravestones. Very true to its word. Haunted House smells old and dusty and dank. Right at the top, you are getting hit with that smoked cedar. Definite hits of that oud in there. And then creeping under that floorboards is that old, musty, wet stone. But surprisingly, for how old and abandoned and dusty this one feels, it doesn't take a cold, eerie feel. It's actually surprisingly warm. This haunted house definitely had an old fireplace. There's almost like a hearthiness to it. Like the ghosts that were living inside just lit up the fireplace. The smoke is bellowing through the house. As you walk in, you're hit with that. But as you descend lower into the basement, you are getting that like wet stone nastiness. And the way that those two vibes play off each other is just really evocative and really just sets the whole scene. When I first smelled this scent, I kind of wasn't really feeling that dichotomy of the scents, but the more that I've sat with it, the more that I've burned it, the more that I really like that vibe, like an old crumbly dusty haunted house that still has life to it, or afterlife if you will. And so I have given this one a considerable burn, and it is fairly strong. It's not blow the roof off the house strong, but definitely will fill your room up with scent. So if you're a big fan of old dusty wood, you like that wet stone feel as well, you want something truly spooky, then consider giving Haunted House a try. All right, up next here we have a crazy conceptual blend with Dead Night Video. The description of Dead Night Video states, imagine a rundown haunted old video store like Blockbuster while it is raining at night. The scent notes on Dead Night Video are VHS tapes, vinyl, musty carpet, and petrichor. Ooh, this one gives me chills when I smell it. This one is so descriptive in what it tries to play off. Imagine a rainy fall day. It's thundering outside, and you're going to take a trip to your local video store to rent a horror movie. The parking lot is empty. The rain is just splattering on the pavement, and you walk into the video store. There's no one there. The lights above you are buzzing. You're stepping on that Technicolor carpet, dragging in the rain with you. The carpet is wet, it's musty. You're smelling the dust, and then you're smelling that plastic smell from the endless aisles of VHS tapes. The entire picture is there. This scent is so eerie and cold. And from the scent notes, you would think that it would smell like disgusting, but there's almost this like sweet, inviting scent in there as well. It really just takes me back to the days where I used to go to like Hollywood Video or Blockbuster. And now they weren't abandoned at the time, but you know when you walk into that store and just the carpet was always musty, it always smelled musty in there. That scent is just captured so perfectly in this. You get the petrichor, you get the musty carpet, and you do get that plasticky smell in there as well. It is dirty, it is cold. So if you don't like that, if you don't want a truly eerie scent, then I don't know if Dead Night Video is going to appeal to you. It's definitely not for everybody, but if you're looking for that type of vibe, if you want to try something wholly unique, then definitely try out Dead Night Video. All right, and last but certainly not least here, we have something that is wholly unique and truly terrifying, and that is Abduction. So the description of Abduction states, a very conceptual mix based on the movie Fire in the Sky. What's scarier than aliens? Abduction has scent notes of forest floor, redwood, stainless steel, and blood. So when I first read those scent notes, I didn't know exactly how far Virgil was going to take it, and the answer is far. I have never smelled something quite like this before. It's something so unique and genuinely scary, whereas Dead Night Video has this eerie, dread-like feel. I've never smelled a scent that actually scares me in the way that this one does. This scent is so cold and dark, but I also really like it in a way. I don't know how to describe it. Now, the stainless steel in here and the blood notes aren't the like big main factors in it. It doesn't smell disgusting. Surprisingly, you get a lot of the forest floor, and specifically what I really love about this fragrance is that redwood note. It smells so foresty, so authentic. If you've ever been like in the redwood forest in California, it's so distinctly redwood, and I really, really love that. And then that stainless steel and the blood come in to give this extremely cold, almost astringent, like sourness. It's like you were standing in the middle of like a foggy redwood forest, and then you were abducted by aliens. That tractor beam that's pulling you up brought a lot of the forest floor up with it. And then they're placing you on that cold stainless steel little tray, and there's a faint smell of old blood out there. It is a truly frightening fragrance, so it is not for the faint of heart. This definitely will not be for everyone, but the true freaks like me out there are going to go crazy over this thing. And just to match how crazy this scent smells, it is crazy strong as well. I only did 1 cube here, and this thing was throwing like a powerhouse, filling my room up with scent, traveling down the hall, and creating such an insane foresty, bloody vibe. So if you want to try something truly unique this Halloween season, consider giving Abduction a try. So that is all I have for you guys today. Overall, I think this is another killer collection from Virgil. It is a very well-rounded collection. There's something for the gourmand lovers, there's something for the fresh scent lovers, and then there's something for the true scary Halloween lovers out there. To me personally, there isn't really a bad fragrance amongst the bunch. And every time I went to go burn the next melt, I kind of found myself having a new favorite. As of right now, I'm kind of personally torn between the Dead Night Video, the Abduction, and Cranberry Pumpkin, which is a very weird spectrum of scents, but that just goes to show how unique each and every fragrance here is. But let me know what you guys think of these scents. If you're excited, what you're going to try out. I personally can't wait for more people to get to try these, and I'm definitely excited for more of the candles to come out. I can't believe that we're already in that time of year where I can talk about new Halloween releases. The best time of year will be here faster than we know it. So once again, if you guys are interested in anything of this collection, these scents will be releasing on Thursday, July 17th in wax melt form only. I'd like to personally thank Virgil again for sending these my way. Remember to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more Halloween content, because you know I have more on the way very soon. Until the next one, I'll see you guys later. Bye.